friends and health enthusiasts. If you are a seeker of truth and have a curious mind, I'm glad you're here. You've just stepped into The Unconventional Alchemist, the podcast where we unravel the secrets of personal health, unconventional wisdom, and the alchemy of change. I'm your host and resident storyteller, Tracy Scott, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. In each episode, we'll explore the blend of unconventional ideas, ancient wisdom, and modern insights, forging a path to personal alchemy. Hey friends, we are here today to talk about box breathing. So this is also known as square breathing and has ancient roots, has been practiced in just a huge variety of cultures and traditions. So while it's challenging to pinpoint a specific origin, this technique has been part of yogic practices for centuries. The concept of controlled breathing, including patterns similar to box breathing, is found in pranayama, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly, which is a fundamental aspect of yoga that focuses on breath control. The term box breathing itself gained popularity in more modern times, particularly within military and tactical training. It has been utilized as a method to enhance performance under stress and to manage anxiety. This is where I first heard about it, was from, I believe he's a retired Navy SEAL, Mark Sisson. They are, in particular, are known to incorporate box breathing into their training to maintain composure in high pressure situations. So while the specific term box breathing may be relatively recent, the practice of controlled breathing in a rhythmic pattern has ancient origins, particularly within the yoga community and traditions. Its adaptation into more contemporary settings, including military training, has contributed to its widespread recognition today. So let's get into it. We're going to just talk a little bit more about how you can actually do this for yourself and just access this really quick tool, a really quick stress relief tool. So box breathing, again, known as square breathing, or sometimes even four square breathing, is a very simple and yet very, very effective technique to manage stress, anxiety, and to enhance focus. So today we're going to explore the benefits. I'm going to guide you through the steps, and we'll talk a bit more about, some of the physiology and things behind, but we want to get right into it. So the steps of box breathing are as follows. So you're going to inhale for a count of 4. You're going to hold that breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold that breath again at the exhale for a count of 4. So let's just try it a couple of times together. And if you find the 4 uncomfortable as we do this, just drop it down into something that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. So let's just do a couple rounds together right now. So inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold again for 4. So let's do this. So you're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. So this rhythmic and controlled breathing pattern is designed to promote relaxation, reduce stress, and improve focus, like I said before. It can be used in a variety of contexts. So think about things like meditation, mindfulness practices, whatever you're doing. But like I alluded to earlier, it's a really quick stress relief tool that you can use in everyday situations. So if that is the only thing you take away from this, that would make me happy. But let's get into some of the benefits. So if you even want to just leave it at this, that's fine. We can part ways. But if you want to dive a little bit deeper into what's going on, let's go there. So box breathing offers a range of physical, mental, and emotional benefits, making it a valuable tool for our overall well-being. So we're going to go through some of the key ones. We already talked about this one, stress reduction. So what happens is box breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation and reducing the production of stress hormones like cortisol. And we're going to dive into this in particular a little later on in this podcast because it's just a little more information I want to share with you. Anxiety management. So this controlled breathing pattern just helps calm the mind and reduces symptoms of anxiety. So it provides a very practical and accessible technique for managing anxious feelings. Number 3, improved focus and concentration. So a regular practice of box breathing has been linked to enhanced cognitive function, improved focus, and increased mental clarity. So a very useful tool when it comes to maintaining concentration in various activities. Number 4, emotional regulation. So it helps to encourage a mindful and a controlled approach to our emotions. And in particular, it can be helpful in situations where emotional regulation is essential, whatever that is for you. Number 5, lowered blood pressure. So this relaxation response that gets triggered by box breathing has been associated with lower blood pressure, which is great for just helping promote our overall cardiovascular health. Number 6, enhanced respiratory function. This deliberate focus on breath control can really do wonders to improve your overall respiratory function, which then leads to more efficient oxygen exchange and better lung capacity. Number 7, and one of my favorites, better sleep. Incorporating box breathing into your bedtime routine can help calm the nervous system and promote better sleep by reducing just some of that stress and anxiety you may be feeling as you're going off to bed. Number 8, increased mindfulness. So this is just a form of mindfulness practice, just paying attention to your breathing, this controlled rhythmic breathing, and this a regular engagement just can really heighten your sense of awareness, both while you're doing it, but then it spills over into your daily life as well, which is where some of the beauty in this lies. So number 9, and we won't get into this one a whole lot today, but if you ever want me to come back to this, we can do that. Improved heart rate variability. It may be something you've heard about or not, but on a very simple scale, box breathing has been shown to positively impact heart rate variability. And that's really an indicator that your autonomic nervous system is adaptable and resilient to stress. So someone who isn't as resilient will not have a lot of heart rate variability necessarily. Number 10, we're almost done. I think I've got 12 here for you. We've got quick stress relief, which I mentioned many times because that is my big one I want you to take away from today. So this is, it's portable. It's with you all the time and it works very, very quickly. You may have even noticed just doing it that 2 or 3 times what it did to your system. So, and that can be done really discreetly in various settings to, manage acute stress or tension. I can't even tell you how many times I've done this, like driving in the car or in a meeting or just in a situation where I'm not feeling so hot necessarily. Number 11, enhanced mood. So it has this calming effect, which can just contribute to just an improved mood overall and your general sense of overall well-being. And lastly, and this is something I talk a lot about with clients, it really helps you develop a mind-body connection. It just encourages you to be present and more attuned to your internal state. So all of that said, it is important to note that individuals will experience a variety of different things. So while box breathing can be a beneficial practice, it's obviously not a substitute for any professional mental health support that may be needed. As with any relaxation technique, it's the consistency of doing these things that is key to experiencing the full range of benefits. So obviously you can, like I said, feel a quick relief, but it's that ongoing utilization as a tool that will really serve you well over the long term. Okay, so if you want to get into, again, a bit of a deeper dive, I wanted to come back to that parasympathetic nervous system. So again, if you don't want to stick around for this part, that is fine. It just to give you a little bit more insight into what this is. So when we're talking about stress and anxiety and chronic stress and all those things, we're talking about our fight or flight nervous system. Our parasympathetic nervous system is more of our rest and digest, the more chill side of things. And this is the one where we need to spend a little bit more time. So controlled breathing techniques, so any of them, box breathing just being one, can help activate this system, the PNS, through a variety of different mechanisms. And it leads to this relaxation response, which is what we're after. So like I said, we call this the body's rest and digest functions. We're getting relaxation, reducing stress, and helping just restore some of the balance or harmony within our systems. So here's what's going on. There's a few things. So the first thing that this box breathing or any controlled breathing is doing is it is stimulating your vagus nerve. And this is the kind of the key driver of this PNS. What happens is that vagus nerve releases acetylcholine, which has a calming effect on the body. Number one. The next thing that's happening is we get a reduction in stress hormones. So the controlled breathing just helps decrease the levels of them, such things like cortisol, and that has a calming effect that signals the body that it is safe, bringing you hopefully, or even just reducing that fight or flight response and trying to tap into more of that rest and digest. Number three, we talked about this a little bit earlier, so heart rate variability, but that controlled breathing helps increase our heart rate variability. So we don't want our heart rate just beating the same rhythm and at the same strength all the time. We want it to be able to adapt to exercise or stress or different things. So you want some variation in the time between successive heartbeats, because that is associated with your body and your systems being more adaptable and resilient, and also indicating that you do have a balance or a harmony going back and forth between these sympathetic and parasympathetic branches. So your fight and flight and your rest and digest. Just a couple more here for you. Relaxation of our muscles. So again, these deep controlled breathing patterns, whatever they are, they help encourage our muscles to relax, which reduces overall tension in the body. And that's where this parasympathetic nervous system plays a role here in helping promote this muscle relaxation. And we definitely need some of that in our lives. And lastly, we get some improved blood flow. And this is something I've been learning a lot about in the last couple of years and just working with clients is we really want to make sure that, blood is getting to where it needs to go and then coming back from those places so that it can be regenerated or revitalized. It's not regenerated in that sense, but controlled breathing helps enhance blood flow, particularly to our digestive organs. So again, part of that rest and digest, we need that blood flow getting there to help things do what they need to do. And just helping to optimize digestion and getting the nutrient absorption out of your food. Because sometimes you might be getting all kinds of great things in, but if there's not a lot of blood flow going on and things are compromised, you may not be getting all the benefits of putting those foods into your system. So what I love about this is it's such a simple technique. It can be done, like we said, in very discrete situations. And it really, really gives us the ability to actively influence our nervous system, shifting from that fight or flight, stress state into the calming rest and digest state, which is fabulous. That really just contributes to our overall long-term well-being and resilience. The last thing I want to do with you today is just go through some troubleshooting tips that you may have as you work to incorporate this into your daily routine, because it's not always very comfortable and you might run up against some common challenges. So one of the things, I mentioned this as we were practicing at the very beginning of our time together, was maybe start with shorter counts. So if counting to 4 in each phase feels challenging, start with 2 or 3 and gradually increase the count as you become more comfortable, because you don't have to stay with 4. You can move on to 5 and 6 and 8 or whatever feels good for you. You can adjust the pace, so you can experiment with the speed of your breath. So some people will find that a slower pace feels more calming, while others prefer a slightly quicker rhythm. So just find what works for you. And by pace, I'm talking about just the speed with which you take your breath in. So instead of, you could take a quick breath in or a quicker breath in over the 4, or you can take a slower breath in. So just experiment and see what feels more comfortable for you. Next, if you're going to focus on anything, focus on the exhalation, so the breathing out. So if you find it hard to exhale for that full count, whatever you've decided on, just prioritize a slow and complete exhalation, and that will help activate that relaxation response more effectively and maybe hopefully make things a little bit more comfortable, because this can be very, very uncomfortable for some people. Practice regularly. Like everything, like any skill, box breathing improves with practice. So if, just set aside a little bit of time just to practice, even if it's just a couple of minutes, and that's really all it takes. I find the hardest part with things like this is they're so simple. The hardest part is just remembering to do it. So whatever you need to do to make that happen is all you need to do. You can maybe use some guided resources. There's lots of guided meditations or breathing apps that are out there that can offer you cues for taking you through a controlled breathing practice. And sometimes that can be really helpful, especially when you're first starting. Next, you can just really think about relaxing your shoulders and your jaw. So paying attention to where they are. You'll find often if you check in, you might notice that your shoulders are up near your ears and you're clenching your teeth and everything's really tight. So as you're practicing this box breathing, just focusing on to relaxing your jaw and your shoulders as well. And you're finding a comfortable posture, whether you want to sit or lay down, whichever feels better for you. And then think about minimizing distractions if you can, depending on where you do this. If you want to, kind of maximize your results, try to find a quiet environment, turning off the notifications on the phone, whatever it happens to be. If you want to kind of like take it to the next level, you can incorporate it with visualization techniques. So you can imagine a calming scene, or you could visualize your breath flowing in and out like a square. I often do that. I think that's where the name comes from, and this can help enhance your focus, but that's not for everyone. Some people don't like to use that kind of technique. So whatever, try it on for size and see what happens. And just lastly, just be patient with yourself. It takes time to master box breathing or any type of skill. So just be patient with yourself. Recognize that progress comes with consistent practice. And I'll even do a little plug for my own business, is that one of the things that we do within my program called Power, which is about functional breathing, is almost like reminders where we talk about things like this so that we remember to do it. So just remember, progress is the most important thing, not perfection. Adjust your technique to suit to your comfort level and where you're at in the moment, and then work to gradually increase the difficulty as you become more skilled. And if you, find you're still running into some issues, maybe consider seeking some guidance from someone else, whether it's your physician or whoever is in your circle that you might want to chat with. So thank you very much for joining me for the Unconventional Alchemist podcast. I hope some of the insights, stories, and unorthodox wisdom shared here have sparked your curiosity and expanded the boundaries of your imagination. Until next time, friends.